The Scores from the Playground. Stephen A. Smith defends Michael Jordan amid criticism. Let's get into the content, bro. Drop it in the comments.
Him, with some little kid. It happened to be Tyler Reddick's kid, by the way. And Jordan was tickling his leg or what have you, and a lot of people use that as impetus to touch on the inappropriateness involving Michael Jordan. And I'm not going to get into all of that, to be quite honest with you. I'm just going to, because I'm not here to comment on viral clips per se without full context. You got to contextualize these things properly. So let me try to do that for you. It's a kid that Michael Jordan loves like it's his own kid. It's a kid that he's known for years. That's the son of a driver that just won the Daytona 500 for him. It's also a kid that Michael Jordan knows very, very well that if you see footage, if you see pictures, he's holding the kid in his arms, he's walking around playing with them and what have you. It's not the first time he's been seen with the kid, not the second time either. He's very, very familiar with the kid. He knows him. He's got a lot of love for him and his family. And I believe there were adults standing right there. So I'm not here to sit up there and absolve anybody from anything. I'm saying, why would we jump to that conclusion? Why would we do that, particularly when it comes to somebody the likes of Michael Jordan? It's a legitimate question. Perhaps other people would be willing to answer it if they so choose. I'm not going to get into it too much because I think it's a ridiculous subject to tackle. That's just my personal opinion based on the video that I saw. Having said that, we also have to take into consideration camera angles and stuff like that, how things can be distorted. We've got to take that into consideration. We've got to take into consideration the fact that it was just an 8-second clip. And the reality is that emotional misconceptions usually come into play. In a lot of these instances, one could easily argue. Certainly, Michael Jordan would argue that if he was prone to argue over such things. He's the kind of person that's not going to dignify certain things with a response. The other ridiculousness of it is something that he would just simply and summarily dismiss. And that's something that we have to take into consideration. But when we have to look at ourselves, I think it's important to say this. It's incredibly important to say this. There's nothing wrong with holding people accountable. We live in a day and age where it's very, very important to hold people accountable. It's pivotal, actually. But in the process of holding people accountable, it should be based on facts, not feelings. It should be based on what we know, not what we think. And unfortunately, the days and times that we're living in, that's not necessarily the case. One could easily say we should stop acting like a viral moment is a verdict when we should know better. But we know that we're not living in that day and age. And a lot of people are willing to convict one another in the court of public opinion. Call it algorithmic amplification, call it, people jumping to conclusions because it's profitable for them to do so. Call it people just needing to have something to say and finding a way to make sure their voice is heard. That's all cool because it's par for the course in today's day and age. But we also have to understand that you should be very, very hesitant to impugn the integrity of certain people who are as accomplished and who have done as much as Michael Jordan has done. Today is his 63rd birthday. Just won the Daytona 500. Playing around with a kid while his father was standing right there. And that's the kind of conclusion that we jump to. Again, you can understand in this day and age how some people would take things. But I saw the video. It's a non-story in my opinion, based on what I saw. If it was a story, I would have touched it more fervently, especially in the day and age that we're living in. But that's not what I saw. Do I know the man? Yes. Is he a friend? You're damn right he is. But this don't have anything to do with what I saw on video. And it doesn't have anything to do with the bigger message that I'm trying to articulate. And that is a rush to judgment with enjoyment attached to it. Because anything that creates clicks, that ultimately impugns the integrity of individuals, is something that we don't have a hesitancy to do in this day and age. I may not know about it off of an incident like this, but I certainly have been targeted on many, many occasions, and I have no doubt that I will be in the future. All I'm asking us to think about is our own humanity and how fair that is. Not just because of the individual, but also because of what he's accomplished, what he just pulled off, how it's an incredible reason to celebrate it today, which is Black History Month, which, by the way, is also happening on his birthday, his 63rd birthday. Just thought I'd mention that. A lot of people are going to ignore it, or a lot of people are going to go overboard with it. I'm doing neither. I'm simply making the point. Let's work to contextualize stuff properly. And I think I'm qualified to say that because on many, many occasions when I could have gone straight nuclear on certain individuals because of things that they've said, BS that they've spewed, I've refrained because it's not always the best call to make.
This is why you shouldn't try to stick up for everybody, bro, because you just made the matters look worse, bro. Yeah, you just made matters even worse, bro. Why? Everything you're describing is why the rich think they could do whatever the fuck they want. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Now, when you see the clip of Michael Jordan touching that little boy, it was wrong, bro. It don't matter how cool you are with the boy. That's how it starts, you know what I mean? You're pinching him and you're touching him in a way that you shouldn't be touching him, whether or not the parent notices what's going on or not. I got so much respect for him, I can't call it out. That's how it always happens, bro. What that old nigga gonna put the little young girl on his lap and you think, oh, that's just uncle. These people are weird, you know what I mean? What has Michael Jordan done? Everything he has accomplished. He played basketball, bruh. Yeah, he played basketball. If Mike never became Mike, you wouldn't know him. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. He'd just be another block man that's pinching a little white boy improperly, bro. You can't, that nigga taking up for his friend. Or if it was a story there, we have to learn how to conceptualize it properly. If it was a story there, I'll be talking about it. No, you wouldn't. It's your friend. Not to mention, it's Michael Jordan, nigga. I don't think you'd have a job. You ain't not talking about basketball. Going against Mike, you don't want to go against the grain. Look, drop it in the comments, bro. This ain't about, it's facts over feelings, bro. If that was your kid, would you want a man pinching on his arse? You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem, oh, I was just fixing his waistband. He had ice caught in his shorts. Man, don't play with him like that. You know what I mean? Man, come on, my bro. Come on, bro. Niggas tell niggas that in the hood every day. Nigga, don't play with my boy like that. You know what I mean? You might just talk shit to him. Don't talk to him like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how you protect your seed, bro. You don't want them kids to grow up and think it's okay for somebody to touch you. Look, Stephen A. Smith, shut your ass up. Yeah, you're compromised. Meaning, whatever you say about whatever, it's always going to come out with the, we're not going to say ill intent. It's always going to come out sounding like bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you run for Congress, presidential campaign, all of that type of shit, you're going to lose, bro. Why? It's just who you are. It's just who you fucking are. A loser, bro. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real, bro. Sometimes this nigga talk and you just listen to him and you just realize, man, this nigga here, fugazi. You know what I mean? Real shit, nigga. What was that heat for Michael Jordan, LeBron James when he approached you on that court, nigga? You still the type of nigga that's gonna cry about that. He's gonna cry about that for the next 6-7 months. Maybe even 6-7 years. He's still gonna be talking about, oh, I'm a fan of LeBron, but I don't like him. And shut your mark ass up. Yeah, Jordan was wrong. Yeah, bottom line. Moral of the story. Jordan was wrong. Drop it in the comments. Cause wanna play around, like, share, subscribe, nigga.
If they throw it, I'ma catch it to play the game like Tetris. I'm one of a kind rap, people tell me I'm a clip. I've been working 24 hours, summertime to winter. I ain't really at the chill, it gotta be about business.